is really gross. It's Thursday morning, and I'm filming and watching this horrible snow rain mix and really dreading that I have to walk outside in about 20 minutes. So I hope everyone is staying warm and safe, and ugh, I don't know why it's doing this, especially because it's going to be 70 Sunday. It doesn't make sense. But this week has been both great, and it's like that time in the semester where I am feeling the horrible stress, so much so that I canceled all my weekend plans because I just feel like I need to lock myself away and work. So that's what I'm going to do this weekend. But I saw Ta-Nehisi Coates' talk on Monday, and that was really, really great. I didn't really know what to expect because I kind of just got the tickets on a whim and thought it would be a good thing to go to because he is so big right now. And it was really enlightening, everything he said, and also just felt good to be in a room with thousands of people who have similar beliefs. It felt like empowering. So that was definitely a highlight of my week. Another really great part of my week, which is weird, was writing a paper for Caribbean Music, it's really strange. I've been dreading that paper because music is like my secondary degree now, so I focus way more on English, and then this paper has been just much lower on my list of priorities, especially with project for this class and for my Shakespeare class and like honor seminar. Just all of those take precedent above Caribbean Music, but papers due Sunday, so I decided I should probably work on it, and then it turns out it was actually super fun. I had a good meeting with that professor, and if you want to read it, I think it's going to be good. It's about this like up and coming Latino boy band who three of them are from Caribbean countries, and they are singing a song in a Caribbean style. And it was just really fun to work on and research them, and I'm like making parallels with One Direction because they're weirdly similar. So yeah, that was surprisingly something I enjoyed about my week. In terms of classwork, we started the Swan book, and I think it's really cool that Stephen is reading it, like as we're reading it, but it's also, well, it's more cool than not. It's just like I've never had that experience before of a teacher reading along with the students, and it's hard for us to know based on what the teacher's saying, like what's going to be important because they don't know. So it's like an experience that's totally new, and I appreciate that. The book itself is very confusing, but also good. It's kind of weird to be told in a class to just not be so intent on figuring things out, because usually we're told the opposite, like pay really close attention to everything and track everything and blah blah blah. But I found myself like 20 pages in this week, before that was even said, just kind of letting go because it was hard to be like looking up every single word or writing down every single thing that seemed odd or might be important, because that's exhausting because there are so many words that are different. There's so many things that are different, that if they were in a different context, I probably would track, but it just seems almost impossible with time, especially because these reading assignments for any other book probably wouldn't seem that big, but for this one they do, especially if you have to read like 100 pages over the weekend, so good thing I canceled my plans. But yeah, so I kind of already did start letting the book happen to me, but then, every 20 pages or so I would, flip back and say like, okay, 20 pages later, is this still an important thing? And which slows it down, but it's fine. It's reading for school. So I'm interested to see what happens with this. There doesn't seem to be much of a plot. There is, but I don't have an expectation for where it's going to go. I'm interested to see like what other political things happen. I'm definitely changing somehow because I used to hate politics, and now I'm thinking that's the best part, and yeah. I'm most interested in those because of, like I mentioned in my pre-discussion vlog on Monday, just the similarities between um, the book and current reality. And I don't think that was intentional for the author to do. I can't speak for that, but I mean, this book was written a few years ago, and it's just so eerily similar to what's going on now, and that's like what I'm most interested in. But also the Aboriginal cultural aspects, because also, like I mentioned on my pre-discussion vlog, I read one book in freshman year of high school. I thought more about it. I don't remember the name for the life of me. I did a whole project for it though, and it was about this girl who like had Aboriginal heritage, and um, it was a lot about like the spirits involved with that culture. It was a fictional novel, but so it's cool that I have like some sort of background to draw on, but it's also difficult, you know, because I'm not from Australia and I don't know anyone from Australia, and I don't know if I ever will, because it's a very far away place. But one thing, I don't know if this is like a weird thing to say, I feel like we as Americans, in, um, you know, based on what we do know about Australia, I feel like because they speak our language and they just kind of sound like British, we don't expect it to be that different there, but it's like this book is opening my eyes, and I think other people in the class's eyes, to the fact that Australia is very different. And to me, it's just like this mystical, like, land that, I don't know, it's like I don't have a lot of stuff in my mind about it, but they speak English, so I assume that they're like similar. But really, the extent of my knowledge of Australia is what I see on House Hunters. So, yeah, I'm interested to see in how this book continues. And as for research progress, I feel like I've made a lot this week because I'm really buckling down and like feeling the crunch. So yeah, I've decided, or I'm still figuring out like learning goals. I feel like everyone's has to be like similar but different topic. Like I want you to learn about the modernist genre, and I want you to learn these three things. So one thing I did this week to start my presentation is I've been going through my notes of my novels and my novels themselves and picking out, you know, I have my two, maybe three, like cornerstones of modernism that I want to touch on. But so I've been going through my novels and notes and picking out my specific passages to close read, which has been, I feel like that's a huge part of the project, is the close reading. And so I'm practically done picking what I'm going to close read, and then it'll just be a matter of doing that work. So I feel like I've done like most of the work just by finding the passages that exactly back up. But the harder part about that is for what I'm focusing on, there are so many passages, so the next step is going to be like close reading all of them, I think, and then deciding from there which one will be the most productive in an educational setting of proving why, you know, this passage from Sons and Lovers backs up why like psychology is so integral to the modernist novel genre, because just in Sons and Lovers alone, there are so many passages, and like that's not even taking into account my other two novels. So I feel like having three novels makes it harder because I have so much more material that I want to incorporate, but I feel like it wouldn't be engaging to just be like passage, close read, passage, close read the whole time. So I'm struggling with figuring out how to equally include all three books that I've read, because I read all three for a reason, you know? So that's one thing I've done. Another thing is I've been working on like making my presentation engaging, and one way I'm pretty sure I'm going to use is I've been working on like a workbook slash just guide, so like an interactive magazine of sorts, and I'm organizing it to fit with my presentation in terms of where things are, and then I think to make it, you know, if you have like a task to do, you'll be more engaged and more likely to remember. I'm going to have like little spots to fill in that my audience can fill in as they watch my presentation in like their own words, so it makes more sense to them. And then I'm thinking that there might be a quiz or 2 or 3, depending on the section, that they can do to check their understanding. And I'm still grappling with some other ideas on engagement, but that's one of them. And so far, I'm really obsessed with this graphic design website called Canva, and so I've been using that to make it like very visually appealing, because I know whenever I see, like, I'm obsessed with things that are like designed well, so I know that works for me. It just automatically makes me more engaged if something looks cool. So I'm working with that, and then hopefully that'll be another way to engage my audience. But so I've done the passages, I've done that, and because I am doing my vlog way earlier than normal, I have not done much with secondary sources this week, I don't think. I'm blanking. But I'm going to be doing that today and the rest of the weekend. That is one of my like to-do list goals. So hopefully, because my weekend is completely empty of plans and I managed to finish my Caribbean music paper like 4 days early, that opens up pretty much all of my time to focus on the work for this class, which is really great. And then maybe, well, definitely by next Friday, I'll be like 20 minutes talking about all the progress I've made. But I'm really looking forward to the research meeting, because I feel like my issue right now is that I just have so much information, condensing it into like a fluid, understandable, and enjoyable presentation. So I hope everyone has a really great weekend, and yeah, stay warm, but Sunday's going to be 70 or something, so don't get your winter coat out for too long, I guess. See you, everyone.